Hi, I'm Malcolm Merriweather, the music director of the Dessoff Choirs, and I'm here with Dr. David Hurd. And I'm hoping that you will tell us a little bit about how In Honor of Martin came to be a piece.
Well, in the early 2000s, my friend Carl Maltzby approached me about doing a piece for the 25th anniversary of his Rejoice Ensemble for their anniversary concert. And he stipulated that the piece should be on the topic of Martin Luther King. And I had free reign of text, but the resources were going to be a vocal quintet, two sopranos, alto, tenor, and bass. And it would be accompanied by piano, string bass, and percussion. And he was deliberately trying to take me out of my comfort zone because there'd be no organ. And but there it was. So he set me free with that. And often is the case, the more limitations I'm given, the more easily I work. So having free reign of the text was kind of a blessing, but also a curse, because then I went pouring through all kinds of texts, speeches, and sermons of Dr. King, and little bits of this and that, and thinking, there's just so much here, how can I ever boil it down? And then I, online, stumbled across this poem, Standing Tall, by Jamie Mackenzie.
Wonderful poem.
Yeah, and it just seemed to sum up the life of Martin Luther King in terms of black civil rights, and I thought, well, this text is of a length to produce, I think, a very successful 20-25 minute piece,
and
in several movements.
I think that you achieved that very much.
And then along the way, I thought, well, attaching this little piece of scripture to the beginning and the end, this little quotation from Wisdom, the souls of the righteous are in the hands of God.
So David, this is going to be the premiere of the orchestrated version of In Honor of Martin on November 7th. What will the listeners hear that will be different from the original?
Well, the difference really will be orchestral color replacing the piano. And in some ways, the piano has its own integrity. And good pianists have played the piano score very, very successfully.
Absolutely.
But it takes an oboe to sound like an oboe, and a clarinet to sound like a clarinet, and a violin to sing a violin line. And that which the piano part only sort of represented symbolically in a way, orchestral instruments can represent more literally. And so I think the color palette of the orchestra will bring the work into a richer sonority. We'll just bring it into a richer sonority. Just as the choir will lend a depth to the vocal lines that certainly solo voices have a certain beauty and agility by themselves. But when a choir sings those lines, there's a different expression. And it's not to say that one's necessarily better than the other, but they're just different expressions. And one is a broader, larger expression. And so I'm looking forward to that broader, larger choral and orchestral color.
Well, I am looking forward to directing this piece, and thank you so much.
Thank you.